Hello, my dear friends. I hope you're all doing well. Today, I want to talk a bit about being a nerd and why I feel that nerds may be happier. A nerd is a colloquial term that is familiar to most people, but the way I understand a nerd to be is someone who invests themselves in a specific interest with enthusiasm. One gift of my life being quite offbeat and unique was having the ability to observe the behaviors of many different social circles. I've floated in and out of various realms of society, including the classical music scene, the yoga community, literary circles, theater troupes, a group of affluent young professionals in New York City, frat bros and sorority girls. And between music school and living in an international ashram, I've lived with people from many different cultures, including India, Russia, South Africa, China, Korea, South America, and Europe. Throughout my 20s, I've spent time with farmers, with therapists, with frat bros, with opera singers, yogis, professors, monks, beauty pageant winners, and specifically, I've spent a lot of time with cool people. I actually used to be one of them, but only for a short time. And after a decade-long informal study of human behavior, I have come to a conclusion. Nerds are happier. And by the way, this video is not one of those videos where I am trying to say that being a mainstream person with mainstream relatable interests is bad, or that I or any types of people that I mentioned in this video are in any way better than anyone else. That is certainly not the case at all. You see, I am trying to explain something a bit abstract. Maybe you don't really identify with being cool or with being a nerd. But what I'm trying to get at is how the notion of being cool is oftentimes stripping us of our authenticity and also our happiness. I went to music school where I was immersed deeply in my very specific interests of late 19th century orchestra music, the operas of Wagner, and other ridiculously unrelatable things. I went on to later take a very deep dive into spirituality, where I moved into an ashram, began a semi-rigorous meditation practice, and basically flipped my life upside down to embrace a new culture. But somewhere in between there, I had tried my hand at being normal or cool. And at that point, I didn't make a big deal about my obscure and irrelevant interests or hobbies, and I became relatable. And it got me in the in crowd. What I saw there was quite interesting. Being a nerd from about birth, below my exterior of coolness, I was still very much in touch with the side of me that was stupidly enthusiastic about odd things. But I could notice that the people around me weren't exactly doing the same. They weren't necessarily investing in deep interests They weren't investing in unique hobbies, and sometimes they weren't really thinking for themselves. They were living almost half lives, more conscious of staying in the circle, staying relevant, staying likable, than being authentic. And it's not really that they knew they were doing it. Perhaps they had lived a life thus far where they had never truly connected to their authentic self, but the parts of themselves and the world that was uniquely theirs. I love reading about people who have very unique interests. I recently read a memoir by a lady named Sarah Chrisman, who has decided to not only wear Victorian clothing exclusively on a daily basis, but strives to live as closely to that time period as possible, opting for a bicycle rather than a car, books for television, and she and her husband proudly collect all things Victorian, from housewares to clothing. Reading about Sarah's life and dedication to her interests actually inspired this essay. Her sheer enthusiasm takes on a sort of innocence and joy that you will scarcely find among cool culture. She unashamedly just goes for it. She writes with joyful abandon, seemingly not even thinking or considering that others may not relate. And it's quite glorious, in my opinion. I suppose my story is a bit like this too. But during my so-called cool years, I felt the real effects of what it means to be cool, and my nerdy self just couldn't handle it anymore. Towards the end of my foray into the world of cool, which for my area meant anything to do with bro culture, even if you're a girl. I also remember I began starting to hang out with more quote nerdy friends who were not as concerned about their status in the world. While my interests differed from theirs, what I could see was these people had a natural enthusiasm for life that I hadn't seen in years. I believe that authenticity lies in being able to have the courage to invest in your personal interests deeply, no matter whether it will lead you to be disliked. Maybe it's something that's unrelatable, or maybe it's something that is. I think that embracing our unique interests may give us an opportunity to break free of the artifice of the modern Western world, where we are so sadly so image conscious and feel the need to market ourselves as relevant to others. We as humans are looking for connection and belonging. It is biological. And it's no wonder that most of us hanker for the security that being cool can give us. Because what does it even mean to be cool? From my years of observation, I've come to see that being cool often means to hide, to be the same, to not care, to think things are lame, to stay on the surface, to act and behave with caution, to worry what others think. There is an element of being cool where you feel that you have to dampen your enthusiasm, pretend you don't care, and have a mood of general disenchantment with the world. People feel they must conform to an attitude of irreverence towards the world to appear that they're in the know, intelligent, or funny. But I don't want to be disenchanted. I want to be enchanted. And I don't want to be irreverent. I want to be reverent. Irreverence is a dangerous thing. Irreverence can kill wonder, hope, creativity, and joy. It can kill meaning, and it can kill faith. And that's what I see in many people who may be considered weird or nerdy. They have an almost innocent enthusiasm and reverence for the world. While oftentimes that reverence may be misplaced towards mundane things and cultural niches which don't lead one to transformation or elevation, I believe the attitude in general is worthwhile and a far better alternative than being shut down to our natural capacity for wonder and enthusiasm. If you've made it thus far, I want to thank you for watching this video, and as always, I would love to hear from you in the comments section below. What do you think about the things I said today? Did any of it resonate with you? Do you consider yourself a nerd? Anyway, these are just a few things that have been on my mind lately. And I thank you for listening. I'll see you all next week.